Hello and welcome to week 12, module 12. This is your last module for the semester, so I personally wanted to thank every one of you for working so hard. And I'm hoping that after your final uh, exam and final simulation, you get to rest for the rest of the summer until the fall starts. All right, good luck to everyone. So I'm going to share my screen here. So module 12. Just remember, as you're studying for the final, you do want to pay particular attention to each of the objectives, right? So these should be your accomplishments, right? This is what you should be learning. And then also pay attention to the outcomes at the end of each slide. So I'm just going to share the slideshow here. All right, so chapter 18 is passing the NCLEX RN. So remember, like I said, the NCLEX RN starts on day one. So you guys, enter the program and you're in this LPN RN transition course. You should be practicing questions, NCLEX style questions every night. With this course, you've had, NCLEX style questions every week during a quiz that you took, and then you had NCLEX style questions through our virtual simulations as well, pre and post quiz, and then you've had NCLEX style questions on ATI and your exams. So I'm hoping that you are utilizing other resources as well to practice additional NCLEX style questions, because remember, the scope and goal of the nursing program is to prepare you to pass the NCLEX RN. So in module 12, we will be discussing the last chapter in Claywell. So this is chapter 18. And be sure to complete all of your discussion board and the question and submit it by Sunday, 11:59. That way I can input final grades. Okay, so the objectives here are discuss the development of the NCLEX RN, and then do a comparison, which you guys already know because you've taken the NCLEX PN, but I'm just going to touch briefly on it, and then apply evidence-based strategies to achieve NCLEX RN success. So the NCLEX RN stands for the National Council of State Boards of Nursing. So their scope and practice is to protect any public interest by ensuring that all entry-level nurses have met the minimum standard level required for safe and effective practice before licensing. So that's their goal. Their goal is through this cognitive test to ascertain that you as a nurse will practice safe, competent care. And once the computerized adaptive test determines that you are able to practice safe, competent care, they will issue you a license. So the test is given by computerized adaptive testing, and as you answer each question, the adaptive test will determine whether the next question will be easier or more difficult. So if you start answering questions and you're getting them right, then the test will get harder. So this adaptive test is reliable and valid. It will adjust the level of difficulty of each question based on the accuracy of the previous answer, and it calculates the estimated ability with each question answered as well. So it uses a 95% confidence interval for determining the minimum passing standard for competency, and that is very reliable and valid. So pass or fail, right? Let's get down to the important stuff. So the computer will continue to test until it determines with 95% of the confidence that ability either surpasses, so pass, or does not meet the minimum passing standard, fail. So the length is the NCLEX that you guys will be taking in 2023 will have 145 questions, and you will be given 5 hours to take it. So the computer has not been able to determine within 95. So let's say that you're on the 145th question and the computer has not been able to determine with a 95% confidence that the student has either clearly passed or failed. The computer will then estimate ability as either pass or fail. So the time limit, again, if students run out of time before they have completed at least 75 questions, the computer will determine that they have failed, right? So if you haven't completed 75 questions, you fail. So if they have answered at least 75 questions, the computer will evaluate the last 60 ability calculations. And as long as each and every one exceeds the minimum passing standard, the computer will determine that they have passed. So again, the number of questions that the NCLEX RN will give you is 75 to 145. And up to 5 hours to take it. So the NCLEX test plan is, the categories are, as you can see, the big one here is management of care, right? And the other big one is the pharmacological and parenteral therapies as well. So that is important, but you have to review each individual one. So again, as you're practicing NCLEX style questions, as you're taking NCLEX style questions, be sure to read the rationale for each one. So that way you can understand, the management of care, safety and infection control, health promotion and maintenance. So each one of these. Okay, so the items will either be 4-option multiple choice questions with one answer or multiple responses, which is another word for select all that apply. There is also going to be fill in the blank. You're going to have to choose from exhibits, pictures, tables, or graphs, and you'll have hotspot items as well. Drag and drop close. So be sure to practice, practice, practice. So here is your question for this module. Be sure to place the answer on the Word doc and submit it. Okay, so evidence-based strategies for testing success. So preparation, like I said earlier, begins day 1. So now the exam tests critical and higher thinking skills, and a deep review is needed. So they like to use this CATS framework, and this stands for knowledge-based anxiety control and test-taking strategy. So remember through every exam how I said you have to control your anxiety, because once we get anxious, we cannot think clearly. So with this test, if we can control our anxiety, we have a higher success rate of passing the test. And then it will include academic and non-academic issues. Positive attitude and belief in self is critical. So in order to develop this, be sure to complete 50 questions every hour, or 50 questions an hour a day, or up to 100 questions in 2 hours a day when time permits. So if general rule of thumb, if you can, at least knock this out in a week, because again, nursing school is preparing you to take this NCLEX test, and it is a test. So how do you pass the test? You have to practice as many questions as possible. So go to your local library, use ATI because you'll have access to it over the summer, and practice as many questions as you can get your hands on. So they're recommending that you complete a minimum of 2,500 NCLEX RN style questions. In some studies that has changed to 5,000 questions, and in other studies they're recommending 10,000 questions. So the more questions you do, the higher success you will have passing the NCLEX. Okay, and another important aspect is the 5 C's. So for the first one is the content. So know your stuff, right? So review your information, because remember, from each concept, it builds on the concept that you were previously exposed to. So be sure to study. Do not cram, right? Do not cram, and listen to reviews, lots of reviews. Fill out your nursing notes, right? And keep reviewing them, because repetition is key. And then confidence. So believe in yourself, right? You as LPNs, you passed your NCLEX PN, right? You've passed that, and you are licensed professionals. You guys are licensed practical nurses. So believe in yourself that you can pass this NCLEX RN and further your education. The next one is control. So control tension and anxiety. Like I said, and I cannot emphasize how important this is. Control your anxiety when you're taking a test, right? Because every time we're caring for patients out on the floor, we're calm, we're controlling our anxiety, and we're making those right decisions. So kind of think about that as well. Common sense is the 4th one. So what does your intuition tell you? Remember, in nursing school, how we're all, and nursing instructors are always telling you, listen to that gut feeling, right? So what is the intuition telling you? So pretty much, everything that you reviewed, everything that you did, your gut is trying to tell you, hey, listen, that's the right answer. So go with that gut feeling and execute and pick that right answer. And then the final C is comparison. So compare the last 2 choices before choosing. So remember how every test question has 2 correct answers, but what is the best answer, right? So always compare those last 2 choices before choosing, and make sure that you're taking safe care of the client. So here's the last slide, and these are the learning outcomes. So you should be able to understand and apply these throughout the program. All right, I did want to share a video with you before I end this. Okay, so like the first class, Dr. Busey and myself and Dean Lambert encouraged you to go on the NCSBN website and, click on the NCLEX and other exams, click on resources, know what the exam's going to be testing you on. But this is the video regarding the next gen questions that you'll be taking.
Research shows 65% of nursing errors result from poor clinical decision-making, and 50% of novice nurses are involved in those errors of nursing care. Are entry-level nurses making the right decisions? At NCSBN, we are dedicated to assessing and adapting to the rapidly evolving healthcare environment. We know that the next generation of nurses will need to make more complex decisions about client care. To meet today's client needs, improved measurement of the nurse's clinical judgment is critical. That's why we're developing next-generation NCLEX. Clinical judgment is a combination of critical thinking and decision-making. To evaluate clinical judgment, the next-generation NCLEX examination questions will focus on interactions between nurse and client, the client's needs, and expected outcomes. Experts in the latest testing techniques and technology worked with expert nurses to provide cutting-edge solutions on how to best create a test around this model. The Clinical Judgment Measurement Model is a framework designed for testing. It complements the nursing process and other evidence-based nursing theories or practice. To best explain the next generation NCLEX exam, we simply have to look at examples of these new types of questions. Once you see them, it's very clear how they reflect real-world nursing care. Each uses realistic scenarios or case studies like you would see in a typical nurse-client interaction and focuses on the types of decisions nurses will have to make in a clinical setting. Extended multiple response. Extended multiple response items allow you to select one or more answer options at a time. This item type is similar to the current NCLEX multiple response items, but with more options. Extended drag and drop. Extended drag and drop items allow you to move or place response options into answer spaces. This item type is like the current NCLEX ordered response items, but not all of the response options may be required to answer the item. In some items, there may be more response options than answer spaces. Close or drop down. In close or drop down questions, you can select one answer option from a drop-down list of words or phrases and can be found within tables or charts. Enhanced hotspot. Enhanced hotspot items allow you to select the answer by highlighting predefined words or phrases. These types of items allow an individual to read a portion of a client medical record and then select the words or phrases that answer the item. Matrix grid. Matrix grid items allow you to select one or more answer options for each row and/or column. This type of item can be useful in measuring multiple aspects of the clinical scenario with a single item. These new item types provide the nursing student with a fidelity-based exam, reflecting the complexities of clients in a variety of healthcare settings. As you can see, the next generation NCLEX is an exciting enhancement to an already rigorous exam, using the latest testing techniques to maintain the high level of reliability and accuracy of the NCLEX while meeting the changing needs of nursing regulation, public safety, and healthcare. It's all about protecting the public and achieving the best outcomes for clients, nurses, and institutions.
Alrighty, and that is it for this module. So remember, you can still contact me after this course if you have questions or need any assistance. You guys have my email. So good luck to everyone. Thank you.